I-74 rivalry for the season as Jim Les brings his Bradley Braves into play Porter Moser and the ISU Redbirds. Good afternoon. Welcome to Bradley and Illinois State here on News Channel 31. Kurt Pegler, Matt Caphorn with you. Yes, the first question we'll answer is Philip Gilbert is dressed. He is expected to play limited minutes today. But that still means that James Gillingham has to really have that load on his shoulders, right, Matt?
And he has all year since Gilbert has come out of the game. His average has gone from 16 points a game down to 14. And he's going to be the guy who's glad to see Philip Gilbert back on the floor most of all. That perimeter offense responsibility has been on his shoulders. He needs some help out there, and he'll be glad to see Gilbert back.
Bradley's trying to shake an 8-game losing skid. Meanwhile, ISU comes off its first road win of the season on Wednesday at Northern Iowa. And the guy that's playing with a lot of momentum right now is senior Vince Green.
That's right. Vince Green has really put this team on his shoulders, taken a lot of the leadership responsibilities, has had double figures in 3 out of the last 4 ball games, has become more of a true point guard this year for Coach Porter Moser. Only averages 7 points a game. Last year averaged 11, but he's really distributing the ball well, getting the ball inside, and they need that kind of game out of him today.
Throw the records out. It's Bradley and ISU. Buckle up. It'll be a good one. Stay tuned. The starting lineups on the opening tap is up next here on News Channel 31.
James Gillingham.
Back to Redbird Arena for Illinois State and Bradley as we get ready for this first game in the Interstate 74 rivalry. Let's take a look at the starting lineups. First, we'll start with the visiting Bradley Braves, who come in trying to shake an 8-game losing streak. The CEFCU starting lineups brought to you by CEFCU, your credit union. Joey Paul, James Gillingham, Marcellus Somerville, Mike Suggs, Michael Rembert to start tonight for Bradley. Yes, Philip Gilbert is dressed. He's expected to get some playing time tonight. We just are not sure exactly how many minutes he'll play. He is in uniform. He has missed 10 games with a stress fracture, but is ready to play today. For Illinois State, they will start at the front court. Najib Eccles and Greg Delegard, Greg Alexander, Vince Green, and Neil Plank to start. Actually, Marcus Arnold is, who missed on Wednesday's game at Northern Iowa, is back in the starting lineup in place of Greg Delegard tonight, who started in his stead in Cedar Falls on Wednesday. The Braves are coached by Jim Les in his second season, 20 wins and 30 losses. The former Bradley star is in his second season for the 8-12 Braves. And Illinois State has first-year coach Porter Moser. Of course, his record with the Redbirds, 6-11, but when you count the 3 years that he was at the University of Arkansas Little Rock, 60-45 overall in 4 years as a head coach. It really doesn't get any better than this, Matt, as far as rivalries are concerned in the state.
I'll tell you what, this crowd is electric today, too. And granted, everybody marks their calendar for this game because of the rivalry, but this has been the best turnout we've seen at Redbird Arena in a few years. And a lot of that's attributed to the expectations out of this team. They sense some momentum that the Redbirds have right now. They just won a big road game at Northern Iowa, and they've been playing better. They've been playing well. They just haven't been able to get over the hump in some of these games and trying to get the victory. But certainly they see what the program is doing and where the direction it's heading.
The all-time series is led by Bradley, 52-43, so these teams have met 95 times. ISU has won 13 of the previous 15 meetings here at Redbird Arena. As you see Jim Les with his arm around Philip Gilbert. Gilbert not in the starting lineup, but we are expected to see Bradley's leading scorer for the first time in 10 games because he's been out with that stress fracture in his left foot. The officials working this afternoon's game, all Missouri Valley Conference officials, Ron Zetcher, Sam Licklider, and Steven Skiles. Bradley in the road red uniforms with its white trimmed uniforms. Illinois State in the home whites with its red trimmed uniforms. Marcellus Somerville will jump for the Braves, and Marcus Arnold to jump for the Redbirds, and we will be underway with I-74 rivalry round 1.
At the center judge to start the game, number 15, Marcellus Somerville for Bradley, and 21, Marcus Arnold for the Redbirds.
Ron Zetcher to toss the ball up, and the opening tip is tapped around and controlled by Marcellus Somerville, who hands back to Marcello Robinson, and the Braves will get the first possession.
And Birds are going to start out in man-to-man defense. Key to get some of the crowd into the ball game defensively as well.
You remember that last year Bradley ripped out to a 10-0 lead here at Redbird Arena.
Somerville with a three-point miss. That's a shot that he will take on regular occasion, and the Birds know that. They were practicing that yesterday. I got a chance to watch some of the practice, and they were making it a point to get to him on the perimeter.
It's Plank for 3. No good. Long rebound into the corner and out of bounds, and the ball will be awarded to the Braves.
Plank with a quick shot out of the offensive set that time. He's been struggling a little bit from the three-point line, and certainly it's an encouraging sign to see him take that shot to try to get his confidence going.
No score, just underway here at Redbird Arena. Kurt Pegler, Matt Taphorn with you for Bradley and Illinois State here on News Channel 31. Baseline, tough shot that time by Somerville goes down.
G. Beckman with a tough assignment, trying to control Marcellus Somerville. He's a player that can do damage inside and out. Shows you his great ability. He's a great player at Missouri Valley Conference. His size, being able to do some of the things he can do.
Yeah, second in the league in scoring and number 1 in the league in rebounding right now is Somerville, who transferred from Iowa, who played his prep basketball at Furious Entry.
He's playing a 2-3 zone defense. Redbirds can get open from the perimeter.
8 on the shot clock. Marcus Arnold, they back off Arnold. He takes a 15-footer, it's no good. It's cleared by Gillingham. Now the Braves advantage from the corner. Robinson with this, tipped up by Paul. He can't get it on his big screen, but there's going to be a whistle, and it's going to be on the Braves line, it appears.
They called Suggs on a push from behind. Both Alexander and Green were going up after that defensive rebound. Plank initially went up hard, and he's been one of the top rebounders for the Redbirds this season.
Bradley showing quickness. Now, in fact, Neil Plank has to call timeout as the Braves, or the Redbirds, had a difficult time getting the ball inbounds.
Nobody was coming to the ball on that occasion, and anytime you get that situation, it's easy for the defense to guard you on that out-of-bounds play. And that's been a situation Plank's thrown the ball away a few times this year. So good heads-up play by him to call that timeout.
You know, this is a game that a casual fan that might just look at the records and say, well, it's a team that's 6-11 hosting a team that's 8-12, and not necessarily realize how the intensity, and you can feel it right off the get-go. Both sides, you know, the visiting team comes in with a lot of intensity because they know it's them against the world. The home team comes in with a lot of intensity because it's a big crowd. Really, this is one of those games where you can honestly throw the records up.
Yeah, and the team that can control that emotion early on is probably going to have the better start of the two. It's somewhere about the 15-minute mark or so. That usually goes away, and you're just playing basketball. But right now, the team's playing a little tight, and we'll see if they settle in here in the next few minutes.
Plank lost the dribble, now flips it ahead to the G. Beckles. The Redbirds have yet to score. We're just underway. It's 2-0 Bradley. And the Braves will stay in that zone.
And some of this zone approach as well for Bradley gives them some assistance off the bench. They're not as deep as the Redbirds are, so the zone allows you to maybe save some of your players and pick up as many fouls as well.
5 on the shot clock now. 2 to shoot. Vince Green will attempt a 3-point bailout shot off the back of the iron, no good. Long rebound tipped out and controlled by Gillingham. 2-on-1 with Robinson if he hurries. He's down on Alexander. Defense by Greg and out of bounds to the Little Illinois State.
Well, that was a tough call that time by the official. He gave Greg Alexander the benefit of the doubt that he was straight up on defense and that Gillingham went into him. The ball never went off of Alexander in that situation. Therefore, the Redbirds will get possession.
And Trey Guidry comes in the ballgame, the Redbirds' leading scorer, off the bench. He replaces Neil Plank, and he'll inbound the ball, and he threw it away.
Boy, the Birds have looked terrible on that out-of-bounds play against the full-court press. Nobody's coming to the ball. Again, in that situation, Green went away from the ball, and Guidry not being able to run the baseline as it was a dead ball play and wasn't able to get the ball to Green.
And so now Joey Paul to trigger on the inbounds. Scoring so far on Marcellus Somerville basket in the opening 2.5 minutes here at Redbird Arena. Gillingham on Alexander and a whistle away from the basketball. It's going to be a blocking foul on the Birds.
Gillingham's one of the best in the Valley that I've seen is using that screen on top. He just maneuvers himself with the ball and does a good job of getting the defense off of him. And he's got such a good, strong upper body trying to get the ball to the basket.
That foul whistled against Greg Alexander, the first of the game against the Redbirds. We've had some games in this rivalry before where both teams are flying offensively. This one is not that case.
No, they're really just kind of dead right now, and the crowd is struggling to get in this ballgame.
Suggs the miss, but Somerville, the offensive board, and the lane. He's got all 4 of Bradley's points.
And again, Eccles is really going to have his work cut out for him today. Somerville is very active on the offensive end, and G. Beckles really needs to step up his ballgame to match that intensity.
Kicked by Gillingham and a fresh shot clock. And we're seeing Greg Dilligard for the first time for the Redbirds as he comes in to replace G. Beckles. So it's Guidry, Alexander, Arnold, Vince Green, and now Greg Dilligard on the floor for Illinois State. Somerville, Robinson, Suggs, Gillingham, and Joey Paul are the 5 on the floor for the Braves.
There's Guidry in the ball game now for Neil Plank. See if the Birds can get something going offensively.
Joey Paul trying to fight through a screen is going to be called for a foul.
Actually, his man, Greg Alexander, was setting the screen, trying to get Marcus Arnold open on the block, and Joey Paul held Marcus Arnold as he was going to the block and trying to get open and get some inside offense going for the Birds as well.
Redbirds 0-3 so far from the field, having a difficult time getting into their offense.
And the Braves doing a good job of beating the Redbirds outside of the three-point line. That's why they're having trouble getting some momentum to the basket.
Guidry with 10 on the shot clock. His pass is picked off that time. It was Somerville with the quick hands, and Suggs comes away with it.
And that's 3 turnovers in the ball game already for the Redbirds.
Somerville's pass down to Suggs. Working on Guidry. Hoop and the foul, and a three-point opportunity now for Mike Suggs. We mentioned last year that the Braves ran out to a 10-0 lead. They've got a chance to make it 7-0.
And the Braves certainly playing with more energy inside. Great recognition of the mismatch that time. Suggs against Guidry. And the Braves playing with more energy on both ends of the floor. Now Phil Gilbert back in the ball game has given them a boost emotionally, even though he did not start the ball game. Tends to have given the Braves a lift here early on.
So after 10 games of riding the Bradley bench while recovering from a stress fracture in his left foot, Philip Gilbert is in for the first time. And Suggs tries to make it a three-point play, which he does successfully, and it's 7-0 Bradley.
Braves back into that 2-3 zone. Came out into a man-to-man the last couple trips down the floor. See if the Redbirds can get something going here offensively as well.
Green's pass on the baseline is Marcus Arnold. His first shot is up and down. And the Redbirds are on the board at 7-2 now as Arnold scores.
Nice touch inside that time by Arnold.
And a blocking foul against Greg Alexander. He and James Gillingham had a big-time collision at the foul line. Alexander obviously didn't like that call.
I thought that was excellent footwork that time by Alexander. He was in position to take the charge. Just didn't get the benefit of the call.
Timeout on the floor. 15:43 to go here in the opening half. And Bradley has a quick 7-2 lead over Illinois State. WNBD TV. Greg Alexander with 2 fouls on the Redbird bench now after that blocking call against him as he and James Gillingham collided.
He's still upset about that.
Yeah.
He really thought he was in good position. I thought he had a great footwork there and really got in position, just didn't get the call.
Had a couple of games this year where Greg has picked up a couple of early fouls in the first half and has had to spend most of that first half on the bench. And another foul this time away from the ball. Again, both teams trying to set down screens, and ISU is going to be called for another foul here.
I tell you, Gillingham was very crafty in coming off of that screen. He actually grabbed Plank's arm to some extent to pick up that foul and made it look as if Plank was riding him the entire time.
Somerville again. He's got the hot hand, but he misses that one. Arnold the rebound on the foul that time. A reach-around foul against Michael Suggs. That'll be his second. And so Suggs is going to find himself on Jim West's bench, and so Jason Faulkner is going to check in.
That was a good open look that time by Somerville as well. The out-of-bounds play really freed him up. That's the trouble you get with trying to guard him. He's really dangerous from both areas. You have to really keep an eye on him wherever he's at on the floor.
And you see Joey Paul is back in the game to replace James Gillingham. So Faulkner is in, as is Joey Paul, and Suggs and Gillingham go to the Bradley bench. The Braves have a 7-2 lead as ISU brings the ball to the floor.
Every time that possession, trying to inbounds the ball, Plank came to the ball to get the inbounds pass.
Here's Guidry, left open for 3, and he knocks down his first one.
Well, there was not much room there. Joey Paul was right on him coming off that screen. Craig Guidry only needs a little bit of room. They will knock down that big three-point shot.
Guidry now has hit a three-point basket in 19 consecutive Redbird games, and the lead is 2 now at 7-5 Bradley. Somerville's pass is picked off by Neil Plank, who runs the floor all the way down, works on, and back to get the block is Somerville. He came back to get the D.
Yeah, really poor decision that time by Plank. Had Vince Green open on the other side of the floor just to try to go up himself to take care of it.
All kinds of contact on the other end of the floor. It's going to be a whistle against the Redbirds.
Arnold initially came up with a big block down low, but he was whistled for the foul as Faulkner went up strong. Initially got the ball back and tried to convert. Marcus Arnold whistled for the foul.
Team fouls.
So Faulkner's going to go to the free throw line for a pair.
Number 25, Jason Faulkner at the line for
Somerville,
the Braves.
who had his initial pass picked off, hustled back on defense, is getting a pat on the back by Jim Les in front of the Bradley bench. Faulkner now 22 of 45 from the free throw line. He shoots it at 48%. The senior from Ontario. A couple of Canadians on this Bradley roster, the other one being James Gillingham. Second free throw is on the way, and that's good as well. So Faulkner's 2 now has the Bradley lead at 4-9-5, and the Braves just show some token backcourt pressure here.
A little bit of a three-quarter trap press this time by the Braves. Redbirds a little hesitant initially, but now they break the press.
Braves are 3 of 8 from the field so far. Illinois State 2 of 6. The offense is slow in getting going here. Vince Green penetrates. Now he's in trouble. And he had the pass picked off. It's Gilbert who comes away with it. Philip Gilbert all the way down. Cut off by Plank. Works the baseline now. Hangs, fires. Blocked by Dilligard that time.
That was a good block by Dilligard again. I think Gilbert trying to get a little something going as he just gets in the ball.
And Vince Green had his foot on the line, and they're getting a long 2 that time for Vince Green.
Yeah, that's a better awareness by Vince Green as opposed to the previous trip down the floor where he tries to take it inside at 5'9". He's not going to get his shot off very often inside there. The last time down the floor, a turnover. This time a big shot from the perimeter.
And that time Bradley turned it over as Robinson's pass intended for Gilbert on the sidelines was mishandled right in front of the Redbird bench.
And good pressure on the ball that time by Vince Green as well. Made the errant pass that time by Gilbert from the top.
Basketball says for a $500 gift
And Chris Burris has checked in now for the Redbirds to replace Marcus Arnold.
Good help that time by Dilligard against the press again. Coming to the basketball. Dilligard right in front of the ball for Trey Guidry to hand it to him. Braves now in a man-to-man.
And the Redbirds shoot for the tie in this possession. Gillingham's at the scorer's table. He'll come back in for the Braves. Burris lost the dribble. Flipped it out to Neil Plank.
He was actually trying to call a timeout there. Really never got anybody open on the block area underneath, and Guidry took too long to come across the lane.
And the Braves snuffed that play out as Vince Green was trying to go around a Greg Dilligard screen. Now on the other end, it's Somerville to Paul. Back to Somerville around the corner. He's guarded by the freshman Dilligard.
Exceptional trap last time down the floor by Somerville. He's really just right on top of Vince Green.
Offensive foul on Joey Paul as he rammed into Vince Green on the baseline left.
That should be Paul's second foul as well. See Vince Green again, just keeping those feet moving. A little shove that time with the forearm by Joey Paul. Official right on top of the play. Right at our same camera angle. Easy call right on the baseline.
J.J. Twy and James Gillingham are in for Bradley, and now Kevin Schrock is in for Illinois State. Schrock had a gigantic game last year in this game against the Braves. He played 30 minutes and was terrific off the Redbird bench a year ago at home against Bradley. He's seen limited minutes this year.
Schrock, the advantage you have with him out the floor is he's a little bit bigger from the point guard position, able to handle the physical play out on the perimeter, and that's what Vince Green is really struggling with here in the early going.
Guidry around a screen, but it's going to be a foul before the shot. It's going to be an illegal screen against Chris Burris.
Yeah, Burris moved just slightly, and that was enough to make the call. It really didn't affect the play, but good job by Schrock initially to bypass that shot. He was open for a moment, and the play tried to develop with Guidry. Just whistled for the foul, and that's once again a turnover for the Redbirds, the 5th in the ball game.
And the first foul whistled against Burris, and the 6th of the team now for the Redbirds. 12.5 to go here in the opening half. 9-7, Bradley with the lead in the basketball. 10 on the shot clock now. Skip pass over to Paul with Guidry on him. 7 to shoot. 4 to shoot. Twy hangs, fires, soft jumper is no good, and the rebound is pulled by Guidry.
Excellent box out that time by Chris Burris, and great defense by Schrock. A little bigger from the point guard spot again, defensively can be a benefit as well. Burris pump fake on Faulkner,
draws the double team. Quick hands by Gillingham, knocks it to Illinois State with 15 on the shot clock.
I thought that was really off of Chris Burris, and Faulkner did as well, but there might have been a foul initially on that play.
We'll step aside with 11:42 to go here in the opening half, and a Bradley 9-7 lead. Working today is sideline reporter Will Cook. Let's go to him now.
Thank you much, Kurt. Joining me live right now, class of '85, Redbird Pride, Lou Stefanovic. Lou, thanks for joining us. How does it feel to be back here in Redbird Arena?
I tell you what, it's pretty good feeling being back here in Illinois State. Two great teams, but the records don't indicate it, but I think we'll have a great game here today.
All right, now there's something special about the Bradley-Illinois State University rivalry. The war on 74, Central Illinois comes to a standstill on this day. 10 years down the road, would you agree?
I think it's the biggest thing.
Lou Stefanovic, thank you very much for joining us. We're going to get back to the game. The Redbird fans are cheering. Lou, thank you.
Thank you, Will. Neo Plank with that three-point basket has given the Redbirds their first lead of the afternoon, and then a turnover by Bradley as the Braves were unable to inbound the ball after the basket.
You knew that was going to go in with Lou Stefanovic doing an interview on the sideline. Lou hit many of those shots in his day. Unfortunately, he didn't do it with the three-point line, but he was a tremendous player in his day here at ISU.
Guidry's free ball is an air ball, but Plank couldn't save it before stepping on the sidelines. Yeah, we should mention that at halftime of this game, and we're hoping to carry some of the ceremony here, the NCAA tournament teams from Illinois State's 1983, 84, and 85 squads will be honored, and Lou Stefanovic was in town for that ceremony. I know, Matt, you were instrumental in bringing some of those guys into town. We'll have a chance to talk about it throughout the first half here, but it is good to see so many familiar faces from those great teams from 20-some years ago.
Some of those faces have changed a little bit, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
Tough shot by James Gillingham as he hangs and fires and gives Bradley the lead back at 11-10.
Good defense on Gillingham that time by Vince Green. Just a tough shot in the corner that time by Gillingham, fading away.
First hoop of the afternoon now by Gillingham, the senior from just outside Toronto.
It's great to see Neil Plank hit that three-point shot as well. Might get his confidence going.
And a foul on Somerville that time as he bid on the pump fake and went flying into play.
First foul in the ball game. Been very active here in the first half. Just a good shot fake, but again on the other end, actually it was Guidry who was guarding Gillingham, but tough shot fading away. Guidry right there, just hesitated momentarily. Good tough shot that time in the corner by Gillingham.
Whistle away from the basketball underneath the basket, and they're looking in the direction of Jason Faulkner.
Faulkner a little opposite from the ball shiver that time to Marcus Arnold, and official right underneath the basket. You don't get away with those too often.
And that's the first against Faulkner and the sixth against Bradley. So both Illinois State and Bradley with 16 fouls. And now both teams are in the bonus.
10 minutes to go in the half. That's not uncharacteristic about these games. Very physical.
And we've got a lot of whistles away from the basketball. These teams are really going at it underneath the basket. Arnold backs in on Faulkner. Short shot is missed. And Faulkner clears.
Good job by Faulkner just to hold his ground. Arnold really likes to get in your body offensively. Just wasn't able to get the ball up to the basket.
Somerville draws a double team in the corner. His pass is picked off by Vince Green. It was intended for J.J. Twy, and the senior from Chicago lays it in.
I want to point out a drill that Illinois State does in their practice. They do a layup drill, full court layup, and Coach Porter Mosier always stresses, act like somebody's behind you. And that's what you saw Vince Green doing there.
Now it's Gillingham with some numbers. He flips it up to Faulkner, who lays it in.
Good job to split the trap at the other end by the Braves. Gillingham maintains composure with the ball, gave it up at just the right time.
I think you got to give credit to J.J. Twy. He was in all kinds of trouble in a double team and was about a second and a half away from a 5-second count and turning it over, and it turned into points on the other end of the floor.
And you got to like the aggressive pressure that time by the Redbirds. Really almost had a turnover, and the Braves were able to go the other way and convert.
ISU showing that full court pressure after the made basket these last couple of trips down. Plank now working on Somerville, works the baseline, traffic, had a shot partially blocked, and Gillingham comes away with it.
Yeah, you're not going to get that call. Plank really went in there out of control. Somerville just held his ground.
And in transition, Gillingham knocks down the three. He's got 5 points, and the Bradley lead is 4 now at 16-12.
Again, a turnover, a block shot at one end converts to a basket at the other end. The Braves have 8 points off of turnovers in this ball game.
Near turnover there, and Somerville just missed picking that pass off.
Eccles really struggling to get into the ballgame. Has no statistic whatsoever on the screen yet at this point.
Well, he's only touched it a couple of times. Here it's Guidry, who hangs on the baseline. His short shot is missed. Eccles had it out of his hands. On the floor. Still on the floor. And it's going to be out of bounds to whom?
I think Plank is actually on the out of bounds line. Will give the ball to the Braves.
That was like a rugby scrum underneath the Redbird basket.
Little baseline shot by Guidry, falls short. Eccles had his hands on the ball momentarily, knocked out, but Plank is on the baseline. His hand was touching out of bounds, and his hand was on the ball. That's actually a pretty good call by the official there.
Marcello Robinson now is coming to the basketball game for Bradley, and that's him walking the ball up the floor. Bradley with the basketball and a 4-point lead at 16-12. We approach the 8-minute mark left here in the opening half of Redbird Arena.
Our team with 6 turnovers here in the first half. Braves with 13 shot attempts, Redbirds with 12, but the 12 shot attempts by the Birds, maybe only half of those have been really good quality shot attempts.
Dana Ford is in the game for the first time for the Redbirds as well. And Chris Burris, we see now. 4 seconds on the shot clock with Joey Paul with the center step. He's going to be called for the traveling violation. 7th turnover against Bradley. 7:50 to go here in the opening half as you see the steal by Vince Green in the lane. It's 16-12 Bradley in Illinois State's lead.
It has been a lot of fun, and a lot of those guys haven't been back here in quite a while. It's almost been 20 years ago that those teams played here, and some of those guys have not been back since then, and it was really fun to talk to them yesterday and today, and I'm sure afterwards it will be as well.
Chris Burris' shot rims out, and it's cleared by Marcellus Somerville.
Good shot that time by Dana Ford. Again, that was a better shot than what the Redbirds have been getting here so far in the ballgame.
Redbirds stay with their man-to-man defense. It's Dana Ford guarding James Gillingham now. 12 on the shot clock. As we approach the 7-minute mark left here in the opening half. Faulkner with Marcus Arnold on him. Now Gillingham for 3. His second three-pointer of the night.
Yeah, poor defensive decision that time by Dana Ford. He helped off of Gillingham momentarily when Faulkner had the ball, and that's not a guy you have to worry about offensively. Just poor decision by Dana Ford.
And now Ford on the other end with a tough shot. He laid it in.
Good athletic move by Dana Ford. Did not hesitate when he got the ball, went straight to the bucket, and was able to lay that ball in.
Somerville. And now both teams are heating it up offensively.
And that again shows you what Somerville can do. He's very good on the block, so you have to respect that. He just did a good job of turning away from the basket and knocking down that mid-range jump shot.
And it's Gillingham with the steal and a 2-on-1 with Marcello Robinson, who lays it in on the other end. And the Bradley full court pressure causing the Redbirds some difficulties. They have a 23-14 lead.
The problem on that play is Vince Green, again at 5'9", could not see over the defensive player. And you can see good pressure on the ball that time by Marcello Robinson. Guidry didn't come to the ball. Gillingham did. They get an easy lay-in at the other end.
There's that senior leadership from Bradley with a couple of senior guards on the floor, and Gillingham and Marcello Robinson. That last three-point basket, by the way, by James Gillingham has now pushed him into 17th on the Bradley all-time scoring list. He has just passed Bobby Humbles into 17th place. He has 8 points on perfect shooting tonight so far from the field, 3 of 3.
Yeah, he's looked good out there. He's got a little sleeve on his arm. You can see a little banged up on the elbow, but again, I think he's benefited from Gilbert being back in the ball game just from the standpoint that you have to respect Gilbert as well as Gillingham, and that's freed up some of his opportunities here in the early going.
In case you've just joined us, Philip Gilbert has played some minutes in the opening half, and now he's back on the floor as he's checked in here. So Gilbert, after missing 10 games with a stress fracture in his left foot, is seeing time here. Now he's guarding Dana Ford. Pull-up jumper from Ford on the baseline is no good. Hilliard off his hands and out of bounds. Nope, they didn't say it was off of Bradley and out of bounds. Perhaps
I think this play is going to be reversed. No, maybe not. I really thought that ball might have been off Hilliard. He was flying in trying to get the offensive rebound, and Jim Les really pleading his case over there on the bench for Bradley.
So the Redbirds maintain possession under the basket, and it'll be Ford that triggers as we approach the 6-minute mark left here in the opening half. 23-14. Bradley with the lead. The Braves have led throughout except for a short minute there where the Redbirds had a 1-point lead and a travel violation against Trey Guidry.
Boy, the Redbirds just look so out of sync offensively. I have not seen this at all this year. I think Bradley has something to do with that, the defensive pressure they're putting on outside of the three-point line, but they just are really hesitating offensively to get into any kind of a sync offensively.
8 first-half turnovers now for the Redbirds. And there's a Bradley turnover. They now have 8.
Both teams just a lot of unforced errors. Both teams 8 turnovers, and you can see why they're 2 and 7 and 1 and 8 in the Valley.
Number 25, Neil Plank, back in the game for the Redbirds.
Neil Plank has come back in the Redbird lineup. He replaces Dana Ford, who takes a seat next to Greg Alexander, who hasn't seen the floor since picking up his 2nd foul early in the game. Here's Arnold right down the lane, and his dunk was partially blocked. There was a lot of contact, but no whistle.
There was a lot of contact there. I can't believe there was not a foul called on that play. Really working in the post, just not getting low enough. Faulkner's keeping lower, getting into his legs, and that's not allowing Arnold to get position on the block.
Now he's got it, and he backs in as a hand check that time on Faulkner. We can't believe it, neither can Jim Les.
Yeah, and Arnold's really frustrated because he's getting bodied and banged around in there and not really getting a call. And that time he was given the benefit. He'll go to line for one bonus opportunity. He's just not able to get himself freed up on the block.
You mentioned that Arnold did not start in Wednesday's victory at Northern Iowa. That was a coach's decision. Porter Moser keeping him out of the starting lineup. But the Redbirds did wind up winning their first road game of the season at Cedar Falls. Missed the free throw, and the long rebound goes out to Gillingham.
And that counts just the same as a turnover. You get no shot, no points offensively.
Right.
Braves get the ball going the other way. Redbirds shooting only 37% in the first half at 14 points.
Michael Rembert, his first shot is on the side of the backboard, and that was partially blocked out of bounds, and either Dilligard or Marcus Arnold got a piece of that. Somerville's going to come back in for the Braves and send Faulkner to the bench. You're right, Matt. 5 minutes to go in the opening half, and the Redbirds have just 14 points. The Bradley defense has really caused Illinois State some headaches today.
And there, the ball's on the floor, and there's no Redbird on the floor after it. Just really not going after the ball aggressively here in the first half.
Whistle away from the basketball, and it's going to be against, I believe, Michael Rembert trying to set a screen for Gilbert.
Rembert clearly moved on the baseline, trying to get Gilbert open on the baseline and out in the corner. And he had some separation there momentarily, but referees around top of the play and made an easy call.
Rembert's first is the 8th against Bradley now. Neil Plank tightrope walking the sidelines off that inbounds pass.
Well, they've really struggled getting that ball inbounds against the full court pressure by the Braves. And you really have to credit Bradley on their effort. The Redbirds just haven't been making good decisions offensively.
Whistle away from the ball again. This one's going to be on Rembert. This time it's his elbows backing in on Marcus Arnold. And so Arnold's going to get a chance to go back to the free throw line where he didn't convert last trip. 9th team foul against the Braves.
Les is about ready to get a technical off the bench, I think. Fisher's getting a little upset with him questioning every call they made.
Arnold has been in double figures in scoring in 13 of the Redbirds' 17 games. And he missed that free throw as well, so he's 0 out of 2 in his last 2 trips there to the foul line, and the Redbirds not converting from the foul stripe. And now it's Gilbert on the other end. His 3 is no good, so that's his first shot of the game. His first shot in about 5 weeks.
Yeah, and Gilbert, a healthy Gilbert, probably knocks that ball down just because he's been on the bench so long with an injury. But just poor defensive awareness and transition that time by the Redbirds.
I stand corrected. He did have a shot earlier that was blocked, so he's 0 out of 2 from the field now. Under 4 minutes to go here in the opening half. Redbirds trying to get the ball inside. It's Dilligard. Kick out now to Arnold. Stutter step, drive, and hit the floater.
Second time Arnold really taking the ball strong to the basket down the lane. The time he was able to convert for 2.
And now it's Gilbert. Rimmed out on the 3. Had a good look that time, couldn't convert. Now the Redbirds come back trying to cut into a 7-point Bradley lead. It's Green. Handing over to Guidry. Guidry hasn't had an open look after he knocked down that first 3. Actually had a second good look in a subsequent possession, but really hasn't since.
First really trying to get an offensive set. Problem is they get the ball down in transition. Now they have to back it out and start all over. Get a shot in 10 seconds. Good patience that time offensively to get a good shot inside.
Gotten 4 consecutive points by Marcus Arnold.
And they've been able to get the ball down inside against the freshman Rembert. Arnold's did a good job of getting into his body. Again, Rembert, a little bit bigger, trying to take advantage of his size. Doesn't realize that Arnold likes to get into your body and play that physical game. Just a good job of rising up over the top and knocking down that shot in the lane.
We've talked about this on some of our previous telecasts, that Marcus Arnold would rather play that way, really, when he's got a guy pounding him and really into his body.
Well, there's a reason for that. He doesn't really play above the rim. He tends to play below the rim, but he's got a great knack of getting good angles in the basket, knocking down those shots, and really takes advantage of the defense.
You've said he reminds you of one of your former teammates who's in the arena tonight. That's Tony Hollifield, from that standpoint that doesn't necessarily play above the rim, but he finds a lot of different ways to get to get his scoring.
And Tony still holds the record, I think, for field goal percentage shooting in a season, his career, because he could knock down those shots with great regularity.
James Gillingham with his third three-point basket. He's 4 of 4 from the field. He has 11 points.
And Coach Porter Moser is really upset with Chris Burris not getting out to that shot by Gillingham from the corner. Just a missed assignment defensively that time by Burris.
Brandon Heemskirk is in the game for the first time for the Braves. As we approach the 2-minute mark left here in the opening half. Green trying to dribble, drive, penetrate. 15-foot pull-up jumper. Rims out, tipped out. Here comes Marcello Robinson. Somerville left open. His three is no good. Tip up, no good. And tip back in that time. It's Gilbert.
That's a mismatch inside. Gilbert against Green. Green just couldn't do anything with him on the offensive board. But right now, the Redbirds just not playing with any energy at all.
A 10-point Bradley lead, the largest of the game. It's 28-18 as we approach the 92nd mark. A minute and a half to go here in the opening 20 minutes. James Gillingham with his hand on the ball, knocked it out of bounds. And we've got a timeout on the floor. Minute 24 to go in the opening half. Bradley's got a 10-point lead here at Redbird Arena, 28-18. Back at Redbird Arena, James Gillingham, 4 of 4 from the field, and 3 of those have been three-point shots, Matt.
And this one wide open out of an offensive set that Philip Gilbert drags his man off the baseline, hits Gillingham coming off of a screen by Somerville. And again, those 3 right in that triangle, you have to honor each one of them. That time they left Gillingham open. He's able to knock down the 3. Again, as you said, Kurt, he's 4 for 4 from the field, hit all 3 of his three-point attempts, leading the ball game with 11 points.
And now a minute 24 to go until halftime. The Redbirds with the basketball, trying to get some semblance of their offense going. Danny Adams has checked in now for Bradley, which stays in his own defense. And another turnover that time. Robinson with the quick hands. He gets down on the other end and flips it up, missed the shot, contested that time by Guidry off of Heemskirk, out of bounds to the Redbirds.
And at the other end, Guidry, the ball just slipped right out of his hands. It wasn't anything that Marcello Robinson did. Again, the Braves playing a 2-3 defense, but they're really picking up the Redbirds outside of that three-point line, putting a lot of pressure on them out of that zone.
And certainly when you're the road team in a big rivalry game, with each passing possession that you're around and hanging around, and in this case have the lead, you get more and more confident. And the Braves are playing with a lot of confidence here tonight.
And the Birds right now just playing more tentative and not really getting anything going offensively.
Guidry for 3.
Good inside-out action that time into Arnold, out to Guidry on the same side of the ball. Knocked down the big 3 to pull the Redbirds within 7.
Guidry now with 6 points. He's hit 2 3-bombs here. 28-21, the Bradley lead now. There's about a 9-second differential, and a carry call by Ron Zetcher against James Gillingham.
No, I'm not sure it was a carry, but I know it was a travel. Gillingham tried to get going off that, but he really took a step before he put the ball down, so either way it was a turnover against the Braves.
And that is the 10th Bradley turnover.
And Redbirds get the last shot of the half, try to cut into that 7-point deficit as they head into halftime.
Shot clock is off. .15 to shoot. You see the time in the corner. Guidry with 8 to shoot. He's going to try a three. Short. Dilligard the rebound. Put it back up. No good. Loose ball. Scrambled. Bradley's got it. Time for them to go away as James Gillingham cleared. And Bradley will leave the floor at Redbird Arena with a 7-point halftime lead, 28-21. Not many people would have thought that at tip time.
No, the Redbirds just not getting good shot selection on the offensive end. Really hesitant getting into their offense. The Braves doing a good job defensively putting pressure on the Redbirds.
And our Will Cook is standing by with Illinois State head coach Porter Moser. Back at Redbird Arena, halftime here. Bradley 28 and Illinois State 21. The Braves led in scoring by James Gillingham's 11.
Consecutive records of 24-7, 23-8, and 22-8, and made 3 consecutive appearances in the NCAA basketball tournament. When the big day.
Of course, Matt Taphorn there, Lou Stefanovic. We're seeing Michael McKinney, the former point guard of those Illinois State University teams, Brad Duncan. Let's give a listen into what Steve Adams, the public address announcer, had to say as they introduced those players.
From Indianapolis, number 23, another sharpshooter, Jeff Harris. From Oak Park, Michigan, number 45, Tony Hollowfield. From Indianapolis, number 24, Mr. Excitement, Ricky Johnson. From Gary, Indiana, number 44, one of the Bruise brothers, Raynard Mullane. From Gary, Indiana, number 10, the point guard, Michael McKinney. From Merrillville, Indiana, number 43, Lou Stefanovic. And finally, from Pekin, Illinois, number 34, Matt Taphorn.
A nice ceremony at the half, recognizing those 3 NCAA tournament teams at Illinois State, 83, 84, and 85. Right now, the Redbirds trail Bradley 28-21 at the half at Redbird Arena. Gailey Eye Clinic halftime report continues with Bradley ahead 28-21. Will Cook is standing by with Bradley head coach Jim Les, his team with a 7-point halftime lead as they played very well in the first 20 minutes. And Will Cook is standing by with Coach Les. Let's hear from him.
Thank you very much. Coach Jim Les joining me. Coach, for 174, obviously a lot of emotions are high. You look at the statistics, and a lot of people would like to say that play good defense. What we saw in the first half was the exact opposite, though.
No, we did a nice job. Our guys were real attentive to detail. We tried to switch up defenses and keep Illinois State back on their heels. They did a nice job with their coverages. And when we play and defend like that and force them to take bad shots, get the first rebound, it creates some nice offense for us.
What's the key in the second half, then, to keep that up?
Well, the first 4 minutes. I imagine they're going to come out with a lot of motion and energy, and we got to withstand this first 4 minutes.
Coach Les, very good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Kurt, back to you.
Thank you, Will. 28-21, the Bradley lead. And Matt, when you do take a look at the statistics, you see, wow, Bradley has shot 48% here on the road, and James Gillingham really leading the way with those 3 3-pointers.
He has. We mentioned Bradley at 48%. The Redbirds only at 41% from the field, 43% from three-point line. Braves shooting 33% with 9 attempts from three-point range. Made all 3 of their free throw attempts for 100%. The Birds missed 2 front-end one-on-ones by Marcus Arnold. Bradley has a 16-11 rebounding advantage, and the Braves have 10 turnovers compared to Illinois State 9. But more importantly is, on those 9 turnovers by the Redbirds, the Braves have converted that into 10 points, whereas the Redbirds have only been able to convert the 10 turnovers that Bradley's committed to only 2 points. And that's the difference in the ballgame.
That is the difference in the game. The game's leading scorers, James Gillingham with 11 for Bradley, and Marcellus Somerville has 6 points for the Braves. Meanwhile, there are a pair of Illinois State players with 6 each, Marcus Arnold and Trey Guidry. Guidry getting his on a pair of 3-point shots. And here in the second half, there's no question about it. Bradley wants to keep up what it's done on defense, and I think that Jim Les probably hit the nail right on the head. If ISU is to kind of throw that first punch, they're probably going to do it here in the first opening minutes.
And it certainly hurt the Redbirds to have Greg Alexander out of the first half with 2 fouls for the majority of the time. He only played 4 minutes, but more importantly, G. Beckles played 6 minutes, had no statistics.
As we begin the second half, it's Illinois State with the basketball. Both Rajiv Eccles and Greg Alexander are on the floor, so both teams have come out with the same five which started each team started with the game. Here's Eccles now. Works the baseline, Suggs cut him off. Gets his way to the basket, flipped it up, missed the short shot, tipped around, and off of Alexander to Gillingham, but knocked out of bounds by Flink, so the Braves will get the basketball.
Good action that time, both ways. Eccles got a good look inside, good quick move to the basket. Just wasn't able to get it to go down, and a lot of action there, and finally Neil Plank knocked the ball out of bounds. Braves will get possession.
And now Bradley's first possession. If you've just joined us, we've just begun second half action here at Redbird Arena. 28-21. Bradley with the basketball and a 7-point lead. And Gillingham missed his first shot from the field. He was perfect in the first half, 4 out of 4.
And he got a good look there, too. Good job of just rising up, stopping on a dime, and getting that shot off over Greg Alexander. Just wasn't able to convert.
Now it's Eccles. Backs in on Somerville. That time he got it to go.
That's really where the Eccles has been effective this year, is getting inside, close to basket very quick at 6'7", 230.
Gillingham quickly down the floor. He got a nice pass from Marcello Robinson.
Poor defensive transition that time by the Redbirds. We saw a lot of that in the first half where the Braves were open from three-point range. That time they got the ball all the way to the basket for an easy lay-in.
Robinson with a deep bruise in one of his feet that has really not shown any ill effects. He's up and down the floor pretty easily so far. He hasn't practiced really in about 3 weeks. Hard practice because of those injuries. Minute and a half we played here in the second half. Now it's Alexander for 3. Rimmed out. Plank, the offensive board. Lost out of bounds to Bradley.
Good look that time by Alexander. The defender from Bradley was flying at him, so he had to adjust his shot momentarily. Just threw him off a little bit. Plank should have been able to rip that rebound away and just wasn't able to come up with it.
But
he could not run. On the baseline, could not run the dead ball play, not after a made basket.
So Mike Suggs just kind of forgot what the circumstance was, and he traveled out of bounds. 11th Bradley turnover.
That's certainly an unforced turnover. Redbirds still don't seem very quick on their cuts. Off the screens and going to the basket. Really trying to get Marcus Arnold the ball inside. Not able to do that.
Alexander's 3 is no good, but we've got a whistle. A 3-second violation against Marcus Arnold. Arnold and Mike Suggs really going at it underneath the far basket.
And again, the Redbirds are really trying to emphasize Arnold inside and get him the ball. Just haven't had any success doing that in this ball game. And he's really trying to camp himself in the lane. Got whistle for the 3-point violation, or 3-second violation.
Somerville stepped out, missed the 3. Suggs got the rebound, missed the short shot, and high up to get it is Eccles.
And Suggs got that rebound against Eccles. Eccles was trying to box out, got himself on his heels that time, his weight going backwards. Suggs was able to get his hands on the ball.
Arnold around a double team, missed the shot. Bradley did a nice job of defending him. Now it's Robinson back in the front court to Suggs, who flips it down to Somerville. Reverse layup is good.
Arnold misses the shot at one end, doesn't run the floor as well as Suggs and Somerville, and they get the easy lane at the other end.
Alexander poke check from behind. It's going to be a foul against Gillingham.
Gillingham reached in from behind. Ron Zetcher right on top of the call that time, and Gillingham real frustrated. Thought he got all ball that time, and gets whistled for his, I believe, second foul, or actually his first foul in the ball game.
His first and Bradley's first as a team here in the second half. Trey Guidry and Chris Burris check in now with this whistle. Neil Plank will go to the Redbird bench along with G. Beckles. So it'll be Arnold, Green, Burris, Alexander, Guidry on the floor for Illinois State. Robinson, Somerville, Suggs, Gillingham, and Joey Paul are the 5 on the floor for the Braves. Here's Guidry, seam in the defense, down low. He flipped it over to Arnold, who flipped it in.
Good call that time by the official. Nobody really had an angle there to either charge or block. And Guidry was able to get the ball to Arnold for the easy lay-in.
And the Braves again quickly down floor, take a quick shot, but Joey Paul can't get it. Now it's Vince Green, dribbled all the way down to the foul line. Nobody picked him up, and he hit the shot.
Good awareness that time by Green, too. Not trying to push the ball too far in the lane, just taking a nice, easy pull-up from about 10 feet.
And now this crowd starts to get into the ball game and try to rev up the Redbirds. down to Somerville, guarded by Burris. Overhelp defense, that time by Arnold, who swatted the shot out of the air.
Arnold really committed himself early on that block attempt. He was able to stay up in the air and get the ball, get his hand on the ball.
Now on the other end, he's called for the offensive foul. And Vince Green is right in his face.
Yeah, that's a tough call against Marcus that time. He's trying to get into the body of the defender, and Suggs really may have taken a flop that time, but you see on the replay, gets in his body momentarily, and that's just enough for Ron Zetcher from behind to make that call.
And right away, it was Vince Green, the senior point guard, who was right in the face of Marcus Arnold. And Arnold's going to the Redbird bench now, and Chris Burris is coming back in. I'm sorry, it was Eccles coming back in for him.
For Arnold's first foul, he needed a breather that time. He's really having to run the floor quite a bit to keep up with the Bradley players inside.
Well, one thing that Porter Moses said he was concerned with was Bradley's athleticism, and the Braves have used that against the Redbirds here this afternoon, no question. It's Paul working on Guidry. His shot is no good, cleared by the Birds. It's Greg Alexander who comes away with it. Kevin Trock and Philip Gilbert are both at the scores table. They'll come in at the next whistle. It's a 5-point Bradley lead, 32-27. We played about 4.5 minutes here in the second half at Redbird Arena. First matchup of the season between Bradley and Illinois State. Eccles is fouled as he was trying to work his way into the basket. G. Eccles, I think, has come out with a little bit more purpose here in the second half.
He has, and he's getting himself open inside, really sitting down in the post and able to get some angles and allow the pass to get inside to him.
Mike Suggs picks up his third foul. It's the second against the Braves. We'll step aside. 15-18 to go here in regulation at Redbird Arena, where Bradley has a 32-27 lead. Down under the far basket, Will Cook is standing by with former ISU sharpshooter Jeff Harris.
Joining me right now, ISU basketball alum who was honored at halftime, Jeff Harris, Matt Taphorn's roommate. What type of roommate was he? We'd like to get it out to our WMBD folks watching at home tonight.
Well, Matt was an excellent roommate, as well as a friend, as well as a teammate. We had a wonderful 4 years here. We had a great opportunity to play a lot of basketball, a lot of good basketball, and have a lot of great time.
And don't forget, Jeff Harris and Matt Taphorn, number 1 and number 2 career three-point percentage. Back to you.
Thank you, Will. Speaking of threes, it was a Trey Guidry three, his third of this afternoon, which has pulled Illinois State within 2 at 32-30. Now Somerville tries to answer with a three, and he does.
I was just getting ready to say, we need to interview more of those former Redbirds during timeouts. Every time we've done that, the Birds have hit a three coming out of that. But again, Somerville, with his versatility, we weren't able to match up with him defensively.
Kevin Trock is in the game, and that's him with the basketball for the Redbirds. So it's a Trey Guidry three and then a Marcellus Somerville three, and the lead is back to 5 for the Braves at 35-30. Again, those Illinois State alumni on campus this weekend for a champions reunion of the 83, 84, and 85 NCAA tournament teams. Good to see those familiar faces back around. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Trock to Guidry. Guidry's bailout three is off the front of the rim. Burris gets the rebound. His hook shot is good.
Burris has such a knack of getting those offensive boards, and a good putback that time by Burris. But again, the Birds just really not having anything going to the basket offensively.
Gilbert now. His three is in and out, and Trock clears for the Redbirds.
That's, again, what Trock gives you from that bigger point guard, the ability to rebound defensively as well.
Eccles, he got Somerville in a bad position. He missed the short shot. It's tipped out, and Robinson had it out of his hands, and he went back and got it.
You got to hit that shot there. Eccles really got it in position, was able to get the angle against Somerville, just not able to convert.
Yeah, he sealed him off on his hip excellently, but couldn't get the ball to go down. Under 13 and a half here. It's a three-point Bradley advantage. Backdoor play to Gilbert. Nice pass from Gillingham.
And that really is Eccles' fault as well. Guidry got screened off. Eccles had no help. Good screen that time by Somerville. But Guidry really got hung up on that. A good pass inside to Gilbert for the easy lay-in. 4 points now for Philip Gilbert, his first game back after missing 10 with a stress fracture in his left foot. Trock works the baseline. Fires, got a
shot blocked, but drew a foul.
I like the play that time by Trocco. Good hesitation here. We got something going to the basket. And again, creates a foul opportunity to go to the free throw line to convert too.
I think Kevin Trock is one of those guys who comes off the bench and really gives the Redbirds a spark because of his versatility.
Yeah, this is again at the other end, the replay. No help that time by Eccles. Trey Guidry getting hung up on the screen, and Chris Burris a little late getting over. Gilbert gets his first basket of the ball game. Actually, his second basket of the ball game. But again, you get a guy who averages 20 a game, that easy of a look. He's going to knock that down.
Neil Plank and Marcus Arnold are in for the Redbirds. Jason Faulkner and J.J. Twy are now in for Bradley.
Team Eccles are out. For Bradley, number 25, Jason Faulkner, and number 10,
We figured that Philip Gilbert would see limited minutes because of his stress fracture, and that's in the case. He's just kind of got quick breathers here. Both free throws missed by Kevin Trock, and that's almost as if it were a turnover for the Redbirds.
And the Birds still 0 for 4 from the free throw line. You have to take advantage of the opportunities when they give them to you, and they just have not done that today.
Bradley guard James Gillingham is now getting some attention, medical attention on the bench. It looks as if he's got maybe a cramp in his leg.
Really working hard on the offensive end, giving Chris Burris everything he can ask for, trying to guard him defensively.
7 to shoot. Twy hangs, fires, wins it, no good. Somerville the offensive board.
Birds just can't clear the rebound.
And an offensive foul on Twy that time as he ran right over Kevin Trock.
That might have been questionable. I think Trock may have been a little slow getting over his feet, and his body was square. Might have caught him with the shoulder a little bit. Clearly, Twy lowered his shoulder to get that call, but again, that was one that Jim Les was not happy with on the sideline.
Under 12 minutes to go here. A 5-point Bradley lead. Illinois State with the basketball. It's Plank. Almost lost the ball, got it back.
Dangerous pass through 2 men away instead of the easy pass to the next guy available.
9 on the shot clock. 3 from the top of the circle by Green is no good, but it's Burris again with another offensive board.
He just is always around the ball on the offensive glass.
Now Guidry faked the 3, stepped inside the arc, missed the shot. Ball on the floor, and it's Robinson that comes away with it.
Burt's just really not getting good looks offensively. Had a good time by Guidry, but initially just a poor shot selection by Vince Green.
A foul that time on Marcus Arnold as he got his knee in the back of Jason Faulkner. And we've got a timeout on the floor. 11:23 to go here at Redbird Arena, where Bradley has a 37-32 lead. Teams ahead of Creighton, Northern Iowa, SMS, Wichita State, Drake all bunched up there in the middle with Indiana State. ISU and Bradley trying to carve their way out of the lower division here in the Missouri Valley. Here's Gilbert with a hand in his face. His shot is short and Burris clears.
Great defense after time by Guidry, right in Gilbert's face as he went up for that shot. Gilbert just a little short on that, as you might expect, coming off the injury.
2 out of 7 from the floor now is Philip Gilbert. Arnold had the ball off his hands and out of bounds, and a turnover, the 13th against the Redbirds.
Just a forced turnover that time. Arnold not really going after the ball aggressively. That's a passive play, going after the ball with one hand. Grimacing a little bit as well. I think he maybe hobbled, like around on his knee, right knee a little bit.
Real quick, our sideline reporter reports that he rolled an ankle and was holding onto it in the huddle. And we've got a foul away from the basketball. It's either going to be on Burris or Somerville. It looks like Burris. Yep.
Yeah, Burris trying to guard Somerville, very active on the offensive end. Trying to keep him out of a little bit of a rhythm there, and that time he's looking for the foul.
And Greg Dilligard is going to come into the game. He'll replace Burris now. 3 team fouls on the Redbirds after that foul against Burris, who goes to the Redbird bench. Gilbert over Guidry. That one goes down.
Patience that time by Gilbert. Trying to go off the defender. Trey Guidry was able to rise up and get the shot off without as much pressure as he did the previous trip down the floor.
Gilbert now with 6 points.
Again, the Braves with that 3/4 court pressure, once the ball gets across half court, Redbirds aren't really attacking the basket, letting the Braves get into their 2-3 zone defense and get set up. Arnold
catches the nice make and one.
Well, he really hobbled to get that shot off. Somerville thought he just had his hands straight up and really didn't get the benefit of the call. But a good pass inside, good entry pass by the 6'5" flank. Really kind of just hobbles inside, gets the ball off, and then grimaces afterwards, jumps up and down as he's favoring that angle underneath.
And now Gilbert will take a seat on the Bradley bench, and James Gillingham comes back in, and Arnold to the free throw line where he missed a pair of one-and-one opportunities in the first half.
Let's see if he can convert here to cut into his 5-point lead. I'm not sure the Redbirds have been closer than 5 this whole half.
Marcus Arnold in double figures in scoring now. He has 11 points, and it's the 14th time in Illinois State's 18 games where he's had a double figure scoring night. Under 10 minutes to go here at Redbird Arena, 39-35.
Now the Redbirds settle back into their 1-2-2 zone defense out of the three-court pressure. First time we've seen this by the Redbirds. See how the Braves attack this pressure defensively. Now the Birds have gone out of it to a man-to-man.
5 on the shot clock. Marcello Robinson behind the screen from Somerville. Long shot is missed, and here comes Trey Gidry now with the Birds trailing by 4.
Good defensive look that time by the Redbirds. Start out 1-2-2, converted to a man-to-man, really threw Bradley off.
Gidry's 3 is good, and he is feeling it from the arc tonight.
And that was an open look that time by Trey Gidry. Good motion out of the offense, really got an open look. And the crowd is finally into this ball game. We've seen a crowd of 9,000 sitting on their hands most of the game. It's a great situation right now. Trey Gidry knocks down a big 3, pulls the Redbirds within 1, the closest they've been in a long time. Now get the crowd back in the ball game.
And Trey Gidry now has 12 points on the strength of 4 3-point shots, and he's in one of those grooves, and we've talked about it before. Sometimes he only needs just a little crack in the door. That time he had an open look.
Yeah, and he really came off that screen well, got his shoulders squared up, and really you can see the lift out of his legs. Good rise that time. He was behind the 3-point line by about 3 or 4 feet, so you need a little extra boost on that. Trey Gidry excited. The fans are pumped up once again. He's getting the crowd into it. Just a great possession that time by the Redbirds to get that shot in their set offense.
Well, Gidry is 14th nationally in 3-point shooting accuracy. He's shooting it at 47% at that clip. And right now he's 4 out of 7 from the field. So he's right about at his average as far as his 3-point shooting is concerned. He's better than his average right now.
You know, it's funny, that interview they did with Jeff Harris on the sideline, they talked about the 3-point shooting ability of Jeff and myself. We didn't take nearly as many 3-point shots as these guys do on a game-in and game-out basis. You know, we might have been 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 4. There were a couple games, though, where Jeff and I might have hit 7 or 8 threes, and one of those was the game against Iowa and Oklahoma City. Another one of those were the last home game we had at Horton Fieldhouse, our senior night. We both just lit Butler up that night, and when you get on a roll like that, you seem like, you know, the basket's a bushel basket under there, and it's just a lot of fun. And Jeff, you know, mentioned that he and I got along great the 4 years. We really pushed each other both on the court and off. Academically, we pushed each other, and he's done very well. He's an orthopedic surgeon now in Fort Wayne. Very proud of his accomplishments, and he's been a great friend over the years.
And really, when you think about the 3-point shooting, you know, the rule that 3-point line was just introduced about the time that you guys were playing.
Yeah, we only played 2 years with that.
and now it's really part of the game.
Absolutely.
You know, in those days, back in the mid-1980s, when people were just using the 3-point shot, it was not used nearly as frequently as it is here in this day and age. 39-38. It's a 1-point Bradley lead. The Braves with the basketball as we approach the 9-minute mark left here.
Almost a 10-second violation. It's just ticking between 26 and 25, and Robinson finally got the ball across half court.
Somerville on the low block on Arnold. His shot is up and good.
Well, really a missed assignment that time by the Redbirds. First you had Gillingham in the corner, nearly wide open, late getting out to him, and then Somerville was inside the block, close to the basket, getting the easy lay-in.
Somerville with 13 points. He's averaging nearly 16, 15.7 per game. Greg Alexander's at the scorer's table. He'll come in at the next whistle. Here's Gidry, another 3. That one he missed. Dilligard, the offensive board. Turnaround shot at short.
Hammered.
And it's Faulkner who out-wrestles everybody forward.
I cannot believe that. Greg Dilligard just got absolutely packed inside. There was no call.
And now Somerville on the low block with Dilligard guarding a nice pass to Faulkner.
Boy, great effort that time by Dilligard inside to get that offensive rebound. Just was not rewarded going back up, and he got what I thought got fouled.
Bradley's lead now is at 43-38, a 5-point lead. It was a 1-point game just a minute ago. Now it's Arnold around Faulkner, and he shoots it in.
Again, Arnold's hobbling out there, but he's able to get the ball up to the basket.
And Trey Guidry knocked that ball out of bounds. Bradley quickly is trying to move the ball up the floor after a made basket. We'll step aside. 7:53 to go here in regulation. Bradley with a 3-point lead at Red River Arena. Well, just how physical is it getting underneath the basket? Well, take a look at this action here.
Yeah, this was the play when Greg Dilligard did a great job going up off the offensive rebound. And Faulkner really kind of catches him right in the chin there. Dilligard didn't go up very strong with the ball, and then with the tussle underneath the basket, no foul called on that play, but really letting them play right now. A lot of physical action, as you might guess, in this rivalry game between Bradley and ISU.
Yeah, we played better than 12 minutes here in the second half. And Bradley has just 5 team fouls and Illinois State 3 in the first half of the 10-minute mark. Both teams were in the bonus.
Yeah, they've really let him play a little bit more here in the second half, but maybe that time it would have warranted a whistle by the officials.
Now Somerville behind the screen from the baseline left, missed the shot, did be clear.
Good look that time by Somerville. Good action. And when you got Somerville and Gillingham working in a two-man game there on the block, it's tough to decide who to guard, and that time Somerville was open, just couldn't knock down the shot. Alexander still scoreless in this ball game. A decent look coming off the screen, just wasn't able to get a good look at the shot.
Arnold missed the shot over Suggs, got his rebound, put it back on the floor, put it up, missed the shot, and it's cleared by Somerville.
Really uncontested that time. Arnold was a little surprised he got that offensive rebound to begin with. He just wasn't able to get the ball up over the rim and in the basket. You don't see Arnold really use the board a lot offensively either.
Tough shot in traffic by Marcellus Somerville. He now has the game-high honors of 15 points.
And Dilligard a little slow in his first step that trying to guard Somerville. Somerville very active offensively. He's able to get his first step on it and get an angle of the basket.
In his first I-74 rivalry game, Marcellus Somerville with 15 points and 5 rebounds for the Braves, who have a 5-point lead.
They're still passive offensively, just kind of throwing the ball around the three-point line.
Dilligard working on Suggs, flipped it out now to Alexander with 7 on the shot clock. He lost his balance on the floor, nearly traveled, and he turned the ball over. Somerville came away with it. And now Bradley in transition, quickly up the floor. Smart move by Twy to bring it back out.
14 turnovers now in the ball game by the Redbirds. And again, that was an unforced error as Alexander just kind of lost his footing.
Dilligard with Somerville driving, blocking his shot that time.
Somerville really wanted a foul that time. He went up, thought he got hit on the arm. He might be right, but again, the officials really letting him play right now. Dilligard slow on that first step once again as Somerville had the angle.
Seems like on both ends underneath the basket, they're letting him play, at least at this point in the game, under 6 minutes to go. Thin screen, now it's Alexander. His 3 ball is up and missed. And now a reach-in foul way at the half-court mark there by Dilligard.
Dilligard's second foul. Good look again by Alexander. Just has not been able to get himself going offensively. 0 for 2 in the ball game. Both 3-point shots down against those 2 early fouls really took him out of this ball game.
Well, no question, put him back on the bench, and he was out of the flow of the game and didn't come back in until the second half.
The Redbirds 33, Steve Eccles, and 25, Neil Frank. Replace Marcus Arnold and Trey Guidry.
Guarding Somerville now.
And that's Somerville to the top of the key, a 3 that goes down. Marcellus Somerville has 18 points, and Porter Moser said the one thing that he can't allow to happen is a guy like Marcellus Somerville to go off and have a big game, and he's having a big game.
Somerville's such a tough matchup, a guy that you don't see typically in the Valley, a guy at his size that can score inside and out. Eccles really did a good job of getting out on him, getting a hand up, just didn't rise up with him with the shot. And again, you have to respect Somerville with his dribble, but he would like to shoot that shot initially rather than taking the ball to the basket from that far out on the floor.
Well, he's a lock for the all-newcomer team, and maybe the newcomer of the year in the league. He is first in the league in rebounding and second in the league in scoring, and he leads the Missouri Valley Conference in double-doubles with 6. He likely won't get there with a double-double today. He's got 18 points, just 5 rebounds, but his contributions on the floor this afternoon have been remarkable. And now the Redbirds, as we approach the 5-minute mark, are down 8. Alexander now double team. Swing it over to Green.
Boy, everybody's just surprised that they're open. Nobody's looking to shoot the ball. Green had a shot, Plank had a shot. Nobody's looking to take it right now.
6 on the shot clock. Eccles on Suggs. 3 to shoot. Plank, 18-foot pull-up jumper. In front of the rim, no good. But tip. It was Dilligard who took it to Eccles.
And Dilligard, you really got to credit him. He was boxed out on the play. He did a good job, at least to get his hand on the ball and tipped it right to Eccles. Pretty easy lay-in. 4 points to the ball game now for the team.
That could be a significant play. Gillingham on the baseline, but a whistle before the shot.
Bump against Alexander. Boy, Gillingham does a great job of just changing his speed on the dribble. Really got Alexander on his heels and then sped past him to get some separation to get the shot off.
Third foul against Alexander, and the 5th on the team here in the second half against the Redbirds. Gilbert back in the game, that's him, and he hands the ball out now to Marcello Robinson. Trey Guidry's at the scores table. He'll enter for Illinois State. Gilbert working on Plank. Hangs, fires, flipped it up, and in. A tough shot.
Good penetration again by Gilbert. He's pretty strong inside as well. Eccles just slow getting over and helping out defensively.
Well, yesterday, Jim Les was very coy about Philip Gilbert and what his impact could be in this game, but certainly he's given his team nothing more than emotional lift, but he's got 8 points. He's played very well in his first game back in limited minutes. Plank to Dilligard and a foul before the shot.
Well, and the other thing that Gilbert brings to them is another guy for you to pay attention to offensively, and it allows guys like Somerville and Gillingham to get more shots off.
Time out on the floor. Don't go anyplace, folks. 3:35 to go here at Normal, where Bradley leads at 50-42. While the Redbirds are trying to post back-to-back Missouri Valley Conference wins for the first time this season. The Redbirds are in the bonus as Bradley has 16 fouls. The Redbirds still have a foul to give. They're at 5.
Dilligard passed that ball too quickly. Arnold was trying to get set up on the block and just a little impatient and made the pass back out. Now Illinois State trying to get set offensively once again.
Arnold had the ball stripped. He put it on the floor, and Gillingham alertly called timeout. He was going to be called for a travel violation otherwise.
Good help down on the block that time for the Braves. Defensively, Arnold just dribbled the ball too long inside. And that's, again, something that Bradley's done a very good job helping in on the post, especially when Arnold gets the ball. They don't even, he's looking to score, not pass the ball out. That time Marcello Robinson reached in and was able to get the steal. Good heads up play again by Gillingham, calling the timeout while on the floor.
And that's that sagging defense. Cello comes off of his player to help on that side against Marcus Arnold.
Well, it's a mismatch in favor of the Redbirds when you have Marcus Arnold against Suggs underneath on the block. When you have help defense like that, it really gives you the advantage back to the defense.
It'll be Greg Dilligard, Trey Guidry, Greg Alexander, Vince Green, and Marcus Arnold on the floor for Illinois State. Marcellus Somerville, James Gillingham, Marcello Robinson, Mike Suggs, and Philip Gilbert on the floor right now for Bradley. 3:10 left here at Redbird Arena. Break that pressure in the backcourt, and now we'll run their offense. We approach 3 minutes and counting now.
Yeah, 3 seniors in the backcourt for Bradley doing a good job of breaking that pressure. Yeah, allows the Braves to get the ball down the floor and get into their offense.
Trey Guidry called for a block, and so that'll be the Redbirds 6th as a team here in the second half.
I tell you, Gillingham has a knack of really getting into your body and drawing a lot of those fouls, just creating the physical play that he has. He's a physical guard at his size, and you've seen it there with Guidry. We saw it with Alexander. He really initiates a lot of the contacts and gets the foul called against the defense.
Suggs' pass is picked off by Vince Green, working on Robinson. Drew contact, missed the shot, but Arnold there to follow, but Vince Green's on the floor holding on to his ankle.
He is holding to his ankle. A little awkward play that time. Porter Moser was really yelling at the officials out on the floor as he thought there was a lot of contact there. Vince Green just came down awkward on that, thought there was some contact with Marcello Robinson. Good job getting his hands in the passing lane that time by Vince Green. But Marcus Arnold, we see him from behind there, really running the floor well. Green, you can see, just stepped right on the toe of Marcello Robinson, twisted that left ankle. Good follow-up by Arnold. And really doubtful if Vince Green will be back in this ball game with under 3 minutes to play.
We'll see if we can get another replay for you to get a better angle of that injury.
Yeah, watch his left foot come off the toe of Marcello Robinson. Right there, as he's going up, you see his in pain as he tried to get that ball up to the rim in the first place, and he's really grabbing it as he's coming down. Doubtful that he'll return in this ball game.
Well, he makes it to the bench on his own power now. And Illinois State athletic trainer John Munn is now giving him some attention at the end of the Redbird bench. And so Kevin Trock enters the game in place of the injured Green. And it's a 6-point Bradley lead at 50-44 with the Braves to inbound the basketball. Gillingham got it in the backcourt and was immediately fouled there by Kevin Trock.
And that'll be a one and bonus opportunity for the Braves, who hit all 3 of their free throw attempts. This will be Gillingham's first trip to the line.
Actually, that was on Trey Guidry now, and that's his 4th foul. They whistled that reaching foul against Guidry.
And that's really kind of a silly foul with 2.5 minutes to play. You don't need to foul, and certainly you don't want to foul Gillingham in that situation, 90 feet away from the basket.
One of the best free throw shooters in Bradley history. In fact, he's now the active leader in free throws made in the conference of all the active players. 487 of them. Made the first one and the second one. And so the lead is back up to 8 at 52-44.
Bradley all he ran was 1 second off the shot clock. Got the lead back up to 8 by sending Gillingham the line. That's almost an automatic 2.
Down the lane, hangs it, and missed the shot. Tipped out over Somerville by Dilligard, but it's cleared by Gillingham.
Guidry just kind of flipped that ball up at the backboard and didn't really get his hand underneath the ball in a good angle. He just kind of spun it and really wasn't able to get a good angle off the board.
And Vince Green, as quickly as he left the game, is now back at the scorer's table, so that injury was not as serious as most thought. Under 2 minutes to go now. Gillingham over Trey Guidry. Missed the shot, tip out, cleared by Kevin Trout.
Redbirds' possession is getting much more important for the Redbirds. They didn't convert the last time down the floor. This is almost a must possession for the Redbirds.
And a blocking foul against Marcello Robinson. And the Redbirds are trying everything they can do to get some energy and get some flow into the offense.
And the Braves defensively are really taking some of that away from the Redbirds. That time Trey Guidry gets the angle and gets the foul whistle against the Braves. So he'll go to the line for 1 bonus.
And you see Green has re-entered the game, and he doesn't appear to be hobbling at least. So maybe that was just a quick stinger. Trot left the game so that Vince Green could re-enter, and now Chris Burris comes in for Marcus Arnold. And it'll be Trey Guidry, who's an 84% foul shooter at the line. Junior guard from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Now at the other end, 1:36 to play. You need to let the Braves use the entire shot clock and not just give them an opportunity to free throw.
And Porter Moser calls a 30-second timeout. So now, if you're Illinois State, man, what's the game plan here? You've got a minute and a half to go. It's 52-46. The Braves have been able to kind of have their way here.
Well, I would assume you're going to see some full court pressure, try to steal the inbounds pass. If not, try to get a turnover on a 10-second violation. But after that, you just need to play solid defense. Certainly focus on Gillingham with the ball. He's going to have the ball in his hands. Somerville's been a go-to guy here in this ball game, so look to him to touch the ball if Gillingham can create something. But certainly the Redbirds need to get a shutout in this possession, get the ball back and stop, and try to convert at the other end and cut into that 6-point lead.
Many of the statistics, if you look at the stat sheet, are very close. Bradley has 21 field goals. Illinois State has 19. Both teams have hit 5 threes. But it's that points off turnovers. We've talked about it. Illinois State's turned the ball over 15 times, and Bradley has scored 12 points off those turnovers. Bradley's turned the ball over 13 times, and the Redbirds have only scored 4 off the turnovers. That 8-point difference is really the game right now.
And that was all in the first half, and that's still where we're at here in the second half.
And there's a turnover and a steal by Vince Green. So the Redbirds get one of those turnovers in the Bradley backcourt, no less.
But again, Illinois State had the ball inside the lane area and just wasn't able to get a shot at the basket.
It's Alexander drawing contact, missed the shot. Dilligard had it, knocked out of his hands, and Somerville cleared.
Just not a very good shot that time by Alexander. Really off balance, forced one up there. Shot clock was not an issue. Had still probably 15 seconds on the shot clock. Just a poor shot selection that time by Alexander.
And now the Braves are trying to run a little clock here.
Again, don't need a foul even in this situation. Just back off Somerville, however, a little bit.
Somerville had his pocket picked from behind by Green, and he drew the foul against Somerville.
And that'll send Vince Green to the line. He's trying to shake off that injured ankle, but he'll go to the line for a 1 and bonus with no time off the clock and try to get, again, 2 points, try to cut that 6-point deficit to 4. Somerville just kind of rolls on that left leg again. That's the same leg that Vince Green rolled the ankle. He's in pain, but he's going to go to the line trying to knock down 2 big free throws.
So 1 and bonus time now for Vince Green.
Big free throw that time by the senior guard. He's really stepped up, tried to shake off that injury, came up with 2 big steals here in the last 2 defensive possessions.
Now Green with his second free throw, and that's good too. 56.8 seconds to go. It's a 4-point Bradley lead. Gillingham in trouble, called timeout in the corner. He was hemmed in that time by Burris and Guidry.
Yeah, that was a great job on the trap that time off the press. Chris Burris is one of the best at that, of getting on the ball and then quickly to the guy who gets the inbounds pass to set up that trap. And this is actually a good scenario for the Redbirds. They're able to set their offensive or defensive full court pressure out of this timeout.
Burris has those long arms, and really in that full court pressure situation, he is a valuable tool on the floor.
Yeah, long arms, quick feet, just a great scenario, great position for him to be that point guy on that full court press.
Well, the Braves are looking to win for just the 3rd time here in their last 16 games at Redbird Arena. They're 2-13 against Illinois State here. The Redbirds have really owned Bradley in this arena, and you would expect that ISU, with its home crowd and feeling the energy, plays better here against Bradley, but it just today just quite hasn't happened as far as the energy, and yet it's still anybody's game, a 4-point game with 54 seconds to go.
The big guys for Bradley helped get the ball up. Suggs and Somerville both. That time Vince Green a hard foul on Marcello Robinson.
Foul number 11, Vince Green.
So Green called for the foul in Bradley backcourt. Marcello Robinson now will walk up and shoot some foul shots. He shoots it at 67%. He's 37-55 in the season. And now Joey Paul is going away in the game and send Gilbert to the bench. Short, and it's Suggs who comes away with an offensive rebound. Porter Moser can't believe it.
Yeah, that was a tough. You got to foul. The guy had the ball. You got to foul him. Boy, Robinson had the ball. You got to foul him right away. He just hit one way short of the rim, and nobody fouled him. The ball came off the rim so quickly. Dilligard couldn't get his hands up in time to get that rebound. Suggs came up with a big offensive rebound, and that might be the deciding factor in this ball game.
Certainly a critical play there off the missed free throw that Suggs was able to get the offensive board and then get it out of his hands, like you said, and they get it into the hands of James Gillingham. Just the man that Jim West wants to see at the foul line. Here it is again. It's the missed free throw by Robinson. It's short, and there's Suggs to get it.
Boy, Suggs got his hands up so quick to get that offensive rebound, but Robinson had his hands on the ball, and just nobody made the decision to foul him.
And Gillingham makes good on both those free throws, given 17 points here on this afternoon. 30 seconds now for the Redbirds. Here's Burris to Dilligard. Getting one timeout. Nice pass there from Burris to Dilligard, and with 29.1 seconds to go, it's a 54-49 game. So we'll step away here. Don't go anyplace, folks. It's not over yet. 54-49, Bradley with the lead, 29.1 to go. Back at Redbird Arena where it's a 4-point game, 54-50. Bradley with the basketball and this lead. Comes on the backcourt is immediately fouled by Dana Ford, who's checked into the game, and he's got 5 fresh fouls to give.
Interesting to watch Illinois State in that full court pressure. They double-teamed Gillingham not to allow him to get the ball. Chris Burris and Dana Ford guarding him, making sure he didn't get the ball so they didn't have to foul him.
And it's Somerville, who's a 77% free throw shooter, 70 of 91 on the season.
This would be 2 shots as the Birds are in a double bonus. Coach Porter Moser waving his arms in the air. They're trying to get the student section of the band to wave their arms behind the basket. Maybe throw Somerville off a little bit there at the free throw line.
And so the second free throw now for Somerville. He splits it as that one rattles in. 5-point lead for Bradley. Redbirds take it all the way down. It's Vince Green, uncontested. He lays it in. Redbirds are out of timeouts right now. Gillingham's the guy that Bradley wants to shoot the foul shot, so they're going to get the ball to him in bounds.
Coach Porter Moser really upset that they had to foul him, but boy, Bradley got that ball out of the net, out of bounds, in Gillingham's hands so quickly. That's just great awareness on their part to know where they wanted to get that ball off that made basket.
Number 13, James Gillingham to the line for the Braves.
Gillingham is wearing that wrap around his elbow. We mentioned that he's been banged up a little bit too. He's such a warrior, though he missed a game with back spasms earlier this year, and he missed a free throw here.
This is a key free throw right here, and to see him miss 2 in this scenario would be unlikely, but that would make it a 2-possession ball game.
And now the Redbird Arena crowd is on its feet, trying to make a little noise. Second foul shot is good, and it's a 56-52 Bradley lead with 16 seconds and counting. You see the time in the corner. Here's Vince Green trying to break down Gillingham. His pull-up jumper is good. Again, the Redbirds are out of timeouts, and it's Gillingham again who's fouled. Give Mike Suggs credit. He immediately identified that Gillingham was open, got it inbounds to him. Bradley's doing what it wants to do in sending Gillingham to the foul line.
And Illinois State out of timeouts. And that's why they haven't been able to call one and really prevent Gillingham from getting the ball. But again, Bradley really knows what they want to do after that made basket. Get the ball in Gillingham's hands.
Both coaches quickly tried to have ad hoc huddles without timeouts, and the officials aren't buying it, so they're breaking up the huddles at both benches. Gillingham's going to shoot free throws with none of his teammates on the line with him, and just Plank and Dilligard back for the Redbirds. 2 free throws for Gillingham. He missed the first. So it's a 1-possession game based on what happens here.
Birds still have no timeouts, only 9 seconds to go in the ball game. This free throw goes down, the Birds have to get a 3.
Second free throw for Gillingham is good. It is a 3-point game.
No pressure up the floor.
57-54. Final seconds
coming
here.
off a 3.
Guidry over Gillingham. It's short. It's a 3-point win for Bradley. Their first at Redbird Arena in 5 seasons. 57-54. Back to wrap it up in Normal in a minute.
Illinois State.